How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a wonderful day today. It is time to get into some animation, time to get into creating, talk about the creative process, get into some imagination and some inspiration. For today's inspiration, it comes by way of anatomy for the artists. For some reason, I always get that name wrong because then they go into the art of anatomy from the section I'm going to read for today. And don't worry, that is safe for work. You can't see anything from that image. So anyways, let me read a little bit from here. The study of human anatomy is so much more than the naming of the parts and the understanding of their function. It is the celebration of our wondrous physicality in the world. The biological complexity of the body can be weighed against its aesthetic beauty, so that the life that drives us is seen to ripple and pulse above and below the boundary of the skin. Art is the perfect tool for revealing such knowledge. Throughout history, artists have used their trained eyes to look deep into our lives and into our very existence. They have given much to the history of medicine, and they have also removed the taboo from seeing too much. The body has always been a core subject for the artist, be it to honor God or to question and doubt the very nature of humanity itself. Artists and the anatomists have for centuries shared their view and have contributed equally to our knowledge. I have had the pleasure of teaching anatomy through drawing to a wide spectrum of artists, beginners and professionals, young and old, in schools, colleges, universities, and evening classes. The excitement and sense of achievement evident in learning about the body is always a palpable delight. To gain the ability with a pencil or pen to catch the perfection of form and reveal its magnificent machinery is highly rewarding. Anatomy is a very potent subject, and the subject is us. Anyways, I thought that was a really good kind of synopsis of why anatomy is really important to study, and especially for any sort of animation or any sort of creative endeavor, to really master the structure and the expressiveness of anatomy and make sure that it's believable. I'm trying to see if there's any images here that I can show from this book, because it's a great book. It's again, I still think Bridgman and Loomis are probably the two that, at least for me, are the best and the foundation for learning anatomy. I really like this book because it does have some really nice images. I have to be careful that I'm censoring the back one because it's probably not totally family safe. Yeah, this will be good though. But you know, where they take real people and really high-res photographs of everything, and it's really nice to see not just an artist rendition, but to get actual photographs and everything to work from as well. But it's very helpful in learning structure and learning weight and learning balance and everything. So I definitely say if you're looking to push your work further as either an animator or an artist, definitely pick up a copy of this. This is, again, Anatomy, come on, for the Artist by Sarah Simblet, I believe is how you say that. It's a great book, and I will definitely leave all that stuff that I just wrote down in the comments below, as well as a link to this book if you guys are interested in it. Definitely check that out. And now for today, this is a jelly rig that I grabbed off of, I believe it's sonictk.com, and I will leave a link as well in the information below. It's a free rig. If you want to download it and play around with it yourself, feel free to do so. As far as this series, if you're new to it today, welcome. Glad you could watch. You guys are awesome and you're amazing. But how we do it is kind of give ourselves anywhere from half an hour to, been running a little bit longer lately, just because we've been using some heavier rigs or some more challenging rigs, I guess would be a way to say it. And give ourselves 48 frames and see what we can come up with. See how far we can push our posing, how well we can kind of execute in that amount of time. I've never used this rig before, so it's brand new, so that gives both a challenge and a sense of freshness to the work as well. And we kind of go through, do a little bit of instruction, a little bit of talking about the process, sometimes kind of theory, and overall just kind of like an over-the-shoulder type of video. So let me know down below if you do like this. Remember to throw me some thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And let me know if you have any comments, thoughts, critiques. If you do an animation using this rig as well, definitely share it back and let me know. We can always, talk about it or any of that kind of stuff as well. But without further ado, let's get into some play today. Alright, so first of all, let's see what we got here to work with. Actually, I think there were different ones around the edges. I haven't used this rig before, but I did spend a couple minutes just getting the skins to work right, and then just playing around with everything here too. So let's see if we can get a good starting pose here. Kind of want to, let's just do the foundational stuff here, and let's hit 5 on our keyboard to turn our textures off, just so the rig's going to be a little bit lighter. And let's set our frame range here down to 48 frames, and we got 48 frames that we're working with here. And it's always good to get a good starting pose, so I do want to do that first. So let's see what we have to work with. This is the head. What do we got? We got a squash and a stretch. What's a bend AP? Oh, we got a little bit. It's kind of like a bounce or like a rotate. It's kind of cool there. And let's bend. That's like a left and right. Okay. So I think we'll make that a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate that way. And let's give a little bit of drag on the tentacles there. Is that going to be too much? I kind of want to go for more of a condense in back, so we might switch that up, but just for getting started, let's kind of go with this just to have something that's a little better of a starting pose here. And so let's go ahead and grab everything. Before we do, let's go to File, Save Scene As, and I already named this one, so we'll just resave it over it here. It's very important to save when using Maya. Save lots of different versions and save often as well. That's one of the biggest tips I can give you if you're starting out animation. Save a lot of versions. Do not be afraid to do that. It's going to help you in the long run. Sorry about that, folks. And let's go ahead and grab this guy and let's just pop him over. Have him translate. There we go. Oh, before we do that, let's go ahead and turn everything off and turn on our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and polygons. And that'll just make sure we got only the things that we really want to see. Go ahead and get a little bit of lag here. What's going on here? One second here. Sorry about the wait here, folks. Looks like we might have crashed. I'm just going to pause the recording real quick. Oh, no. Kicked in there. Just a little bit slow. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. And let's grab this and we'll crank it over down to 48. And I think we'll go ahead and zoom out a little bit more. And we'll make that distance a little bit further. And let's go to Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. Let's do, should be Translate Z. And let's go ahead and even that out so that there's a consistent movement from left to right here. Just so it has a consistent movement from there. That feels pretty good. I want to do a lot of up and down. I feel like that's going to be crucial. And let's do it on 8s here. It's a little bit slower that way. And that's down on 16. A lot of times I like to do stuff on 6s. I feel like that works really well. But I feel like I want this one to be a little more meandery, if that's a word. Meandery? No, meandering is. I guess meandery would work. You tell me in the comments below if you think meandery is a good word. Okay, that's going to be way too fast or way too much movement. So which one do you think? Should we add more frames or should we just shrink the movement down? I think for right now, let's just shrink the movement down a little bit. And also, let's pull the translation back a little bit more too. Okay. And like I said, let's pull that translate back so then it won't be going as far left to right anymore. So let's go ahead and see that. Okay, you know what? Let's just go ahead and make this even longer. So let's take 10 frames for everything. So let's give 2 more frames. It's going to be a little bit longer of a video, but it's I think it'll work better because I want this to really feel kind of slow and a little floaty. Now, floaty is usually not a word that we like to use in animation, because usually that means that you're not doing it right if it's floaty, but I figure for like a jellyfish kind of a rig that we do want a sense of like it's floating and kind of gliding through the ocean here. And I think that's what it's going to be, 60 frames? Yeah. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a video for today, but I think that's a better speed for a jellyfish to move in, and then we can crank up the up and down a little bit more as well, since it won't be as fast to go for. But we don't want to do too much, and then in which case we just have to give more frames and more distance and everything too. But we still want to have that same feeling, but I wanted a little more up and down there. Now there's a couple ways that we could do this. We could do kind of a drag in the feet, but I really want to see if we can't get more of like a bubble up on the leg, so they'll kind of bunch up and then spread out. I think that'll work better. So with that being said, let's actually go back in to all of these, and let's go ahead and just zero out everything we had there. Now let's see if we can't grab each and every one of the legs and see. Let's start with just one leg and see if we can't get that working right. Actually, let's grab the whole. I think this is only this jellyfish. Jellyfish? It's not an octopus. It's more of a jellyfish. It's a jelly rig. Of course, it's jellyfish. But let's grab these 3, and we'll kind of use them as a unit. So let's see if we can't. Splay them out, and that will. Here we go. Rotate Y on that, and rotate Y on that. That should be about right. Let's go ahead and do that on the other side. 3, 4. Now, like I said, I've never used this rig before, so it'll be kind of, I think, our big challenge for this one, or our big, where we can get some good successes for today's stuff, is if we can really get sell these legs as working well. There's not a lot else for controllers with this rig besides this, so I think it's really important that we nail this, and the rest of it we can kind of keep simple. Okay. But I feel like that works pretty well. So let's go ahead and grab everything again and just reset our key there. Let's see. Okay, that'll work. So let's go ahead and grab all these. I think we'll just do one side at a time for right now. Gotta be cool, sure. And to select multiple things, just hold down Shift and then select each and every one of these ringlets, just in case you weren't sure how to do that, which chances are you guys know how to animate amazingly, so it's just a reminder kind of a thing. And let's see if we can't pull it in. Alright, yeah, that should be pretty easy then. Oop. And then we'll push it out. And then we'll probably want to delay this about 2 frames from what we have too, just so that there's the up and down that leads, and then the legs will kind of splay out a little bit later. And we'll probably want to like offset, maybe the front legs will lead and the back legs will follow. Alright, it's real rough, but I think that idea should work pretty well if we can get it polished up and everything. Again, this is what normally I'd say is like the foundation of the walk. Once we can get kind of the hips working and the legs started, that's really a good foundation for the rest of it. And then above and beyond that is just going to be, you know, stuff that adds personality and character and everything to your walk. But once you can get, okay, the legs and the hips working, which would, in this case would be kind of the head or the root controller here. Now I think what we might do is we might scale some of that back a little bit, because I want it kind of to group and just like touch on inward. And so I'll have to be aware of that, but it's a good place to give us a place to start from for right now. So let's see. So I think what that means is that we want to scale down or do almost the opposite with the rotate Z's on the upper link. That's going to be better. Now again, we're going to have to amp up the movement on here. Still want those to go out, so we'll do more. We'll just curl up the rest of it a little bit more. But I think that's going to be a stronger thing, so they're not too... It feels like there's too much movement on them right now. So we will still want the idea behind it there, but just gotta tweak it a little bit. Okay. I think that's working pretty well, but now let's go ahead and amp up the movement on these guys a little bit more. So let's rotate Z, and rotate Z. And then I think we'll of successive movement so that it'll start off at the top and then move out a little bit. And we'll do that by offsetting these different layers or links of the jellyfish leg by a frame or two. Let's see. I feel like there's some sort of hiccup in one of those. Let's watch that again. It must have just been a weird frame rate drop or something that we got there. That's okay. Okay, so let's rotate that out a little bit. And those guys in a little bit more. Now we still don't want to do it too far so that it's not got still a nice shape to it. So we gotta be careful about that as well. So it's okay, but we still want to keep that those are kind of, I don't know, they're almost like sausage shaped or something. And then let's go grab these guys. Make sure we're still recording. And rotate that out. Rotate those in. And I don't think we really need to do the... It looks like there's another link in that tip of it, but I don't think this is really just the tip. So I don't know why there's two different controllers really for those, but that's okay. So we'll kind of just use this one, and then after that I think we'll get into doing something, some other part of the animation, or offsetting everything a little bit more. But I don't feel like we need to use that bottom controller there. And a good kind of rule of thumb is just because there's a controller on it doesn't mean that you need to use it. Now you don't want to have pixel lock where it looks like, you know, there's just, you're not using the legs and you're just using the upper torso. It's good to get in and animate all the important parts, but if there's like, if you've got a thumb move but there's 5 different controllers on the thumb, you don't have to use every single one to do that. Sometimes that'll add hiccups and conflicting movement or make it too busy than what you want. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab everything. Might be able to do it this way even. Nah, let's do it the right way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Gotta make sure we're grabbing everything, and we're just gonna delay all that one frame. And we're gonna go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9. We'll delay that one frame. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll delay that one frame. I know we said that we weren't really going to do any animation on that last one, but just in case we go back and do something on there, we want to make sure we do that right. Feels pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that on the other side here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll delay that one frame. And we'll go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you don't have to count out loud when you do this, but I find that it's good sometimes to talk out loud to make sure that you're keeping up with everything. Plus, it makes for more interesting content to watch than if no one's talking. That being said, unlike podcasting and a lot of other content creators, I'm okay with not having to fill every single moment. It's okay to have a little bit of silence and everything. Because when you're animating, you don't always, as Milk Call would say, animation is concentration. So sometimes it's not going to always have all that. And then what if we took these front two and we led with those just to add some variation here. So we'll go ahead and move all of that stuff up one frame. Let's watch that and see if that feels good. And then let's go ahead and delay everything on these back legs one frame as well. And that should give us plenty of offset and variation between the legs, that it shouldn't feel like they're all hitting on the same frame or anything, because that feels uneven and kind of boring. So let's go ahead and watch that now. Actually, let's see. Did I do that the right way? Yeah, we wanted to delay that a frame. I think I pushed that forward a frame. What if we gave everything even another frame in between? I still feel like it's a little too fast now with everything, so let's go ahead and give ourselves one more frame in between everything. One frame there, one frame there, one frame there, one frame there. And it's good to get it your timing and everything down right when you're first starting, but don't be afraid if it's not working to change things up. That's plenty. That's always okay. And then let's go ahead and take all of this, and we're going to amp up the bottoms of the legs, the movements a little bit more. So what we're going to do there is we're just going to go in our graph editor and we're going to take all of our values here and we're just going to make it so they're a little bit more. And there we go. Okay, let's watch that now just so there's a little more movement throughout the tips of the legs. Let's go ahead and delay it one more frame on all that stuff too. And let's go ahead and delay the tips one more frame too, just to add a little more variation and a little more drag to that. I think that'll help loosen it up, because it's still feeling a little too even and uniform for me. So we're going to delay that one more frame. Okay, let's go ahead and watch that now. Let's go ahead and take all these guys and we'll move them forward a frame, just to mix up our timing with all these a little bit more. I feel like that's working pretty well now. Okay, let's go ahead and watch it now. And then let's go ahead and just delay this leg one more, just to add a little more variation to everything. just to see if we can't get some variation there. Maybe another thing we could do is we could do a little bit of rotate X. Just a little bit. Rotate X, rotate X, rotate X, rotate X, rotate X, rotate X. Just to see if that will loosen up those legs a little bit more. I think that'll help. Just to loosen it up so it doesn't feel like it's just going into rotations. I mean, it's always good to have everything go through 3D space better, so it's not just forward and back, but there's a little bit of a loopiness to it. I think that'll add a little more life to it. We don't want too much, so we'll scale that back a little bit. Let's see. Okay, yeah. It's starting to get pretty, a little more loose with those legs. Let's do a little more. Rotate X here. And we don't really need to throw this in throughout the whole leg, just a little bit. Like I said, a little goes a long way here. We still want to keep the main feel of what we had before, but we do want to loosen it up a little bit more. Too much on that one, so we'll go ahead and scale it down a little bit more. Let's go ahead and watch that. And let's go ahead and take this one and let's put a little more. Gonna grab it. I don't want the root, I want that leg. I felt like it was too far one way. So let's go. Okay, it feels pretty good. Let's go into this one and do a little bit of rotate X as well. Let's go ahead and save our file though before we go any further. Just Control S on there, continue. This is a really fun rig. I actually haven't seen too much animation with this one, so I hope you guys try it out. I really like it, and actually this site that I'll link to down below had some other rigs too, so I'm hopefully in the next couple days, I think they look like fun rigs to play around with, so as long as time permits and life permits, I hopefully will get into those next couple of days too. They had a couple other ones. They're all kind of aquatic themed, but they were all kind of cute rigs, so I definitely liked them a lot. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. Control S. And let's go ahead and we can do a little bit of rotate X. So there's a little bit of a bobble back and forth with that, just a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit of sway, so it feels like there's a little bit of rockiness to him. Or her. It's a pink jellyfish. Could be him. Let's go ahead and see. Just turn on the texture so we can see what we're getting the right feel to it. I really like that though. It's a very cute rig. Okay, go ahead and save that. Control S. And what do we got here? This is kind of that squash and stretch, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of stretch up and squash down. Actually, let's do squash and stretch. So squash and stretch and squash and stretch. Back one more. And then we'll zero that out again, just so there's a little bit in there. Is that too much or not enough? Let's go ahead. This way it kind of favors that up position a little bit more. Kind of bubbles up. And let's do a little bit of that. See if that adds anything, or if we start getting too much, like there's no structure to it. So let's go ahead and see. No, it's got kind of a little bit of a rippling effect and a little bit of a bobbly-ness to it that I like now. And let's see, I think there was another. Isn't there? This is the jelly root. I thought there was a second controller that you could get into. No? You could do a little bit of squash and stretch on the legs too, I guess. Just a little bit, but I think that'll help it a little bit. And maybe we could throw a blink in there. Could raise the mouth up. Actually, drag the mouth down a little bit. And lift the mouth up a little bit, just so there's a little bit of bounce in there. And it's 11 there, so that's 30, so I'll drag it down as it goes up. And lift it up as it goes down. Down as the body goes up. And up as the body goes down. And we'll zero it out again. So, and just want to do that on the translate Y. So let's see how that feels. And let's lead that by a frame. So we'll start one frame before where we have. Kind of minimize it a little bit. And we'll drag the bottom one frame, so it'll be one frame behind what we have. Let's go ahead and watch that now. Just so there's a little bit of animation on the mouth. And maybe we could do a little bit of the same on the brows here. So that. Oh. No, is that not gonna work? So we could do it on the eyelids. I'd rather do it on the brows themselves. So let's see. A little bit of bounce kind of in there. 39, 50, 61 back, and then we'll zero those out again. So let's see how that works. about this rig though. Haven't really come into too many problems with it, which is really nice. Last couple ones that we've been using have had some issues. Let's turn our textures on. I think we could play up the lips a little bit more, or whatever this stuff is. Beak. Squids have a beak. What a jellyfish. Jellyfish mouth. Is there a name for it? Let me know in the comments below if there's a name for a jellyfish mouth. Okay, let's do a little more on the bottom here. Alright, I think that looks pretty good for what we're looking at today. We could definitely get in there and really polish everything up a lot more, but I think that's pretty good. What is this? Oh, is that a splay? Funny. It's kind of what we were looking for to begin with, but we just did it ourselves, so that's okay. Way to go, us. So let's set that. Maybe we could do a little bit more with that. Let's see. 11, then we have 22. Okay, we're definitely going to tone that down. Let's see if we can offset it a frame and see if that'll loosen up things even more. Okay, let's get in here and we'll even it up a little bit more. Again, we already have kind of the movement that we want, but this, we might be able to delay that a frame or two and see if we can loosen everything up a little bit more here too. So let's see. Let's delay it a frame. Let's see if that helps. It definitely has, since we put in all that up and down on the head and on the eyes and everything, it's got kind of a bubbly feel to the head, which I like. Keeps it more jellyfish and less structured, which I think is helpful in this kind of animation. Now, granted, if this was a human character, you have a head like that, it wouldn't look right, but I think for more of like a jellyfish, I think that works. So let's go ahead and see. Just tone down that display controller a little bit more. Alright, so let's go ahead and save what we have. Continue. We'll show turn off our nerve curves. And let's go ahead and watch it and see how we did. Could even zoom in a little bit more. I want to keep it so that we frame it nicely. Maybe we can give a little bit of an angle to it too. Keep it kind of centered there. Let's see. Yeah, I think that worked pretty well. It's a very cool rig. Definitely check it out in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this one. If you have any ideas of things we could have done stronger, definitely throw them down below. Any things that you think were really good or good, let me know as well. And definitely check out the Anatomy for the Artist by Sarah Simblet, like we were talking about in the beginning, because I really think having a good grasp of the foundations, especially in anatomy, even if you study just human anatomy, you can always take the ideas behind that of the structure of the bones and the muscles and how they work and put that into, quadrupeds and animal rigs, and then in even push it further by having a sense of structure and having that foundation before. We can always play with it and over exaggerate it and everything there, but you know that you can always pull it back to more of a realistic thing too. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to throw me some thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Share this stuff with your friends. If you have questions, if there's anything you'd like me to cover, definitely comment down below. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. The reason that I do this, I know there wasn't a lot of this kind of stuff when I was first learning to animate, and so I hope that I'm able to help you at least maybe understand principles more, or the program more, or feel like at least you have an animation buddy in the trenches, practicing and working every day right alongside you. So that being said, you guys have a great day. Keep pushing yourselves in whatever creative medium that you're working with, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more animation.